life and death, moon and sun, it's sure to each the piper comes. And while God and Goddess give for free, down below there will be fees. Despite perfect love and perfect trust, there's no way around it, cash is a must. We've sought within, but come up short, so we come to thee, your help to court. If you would aid this temple's life, a $3 donation would be nice. Remember well that gifts when sent return threefold of what was spent. But if you can't, well, blessed be. We shall survive, so mote it be.
Merry meet, this is Lady Nefties of Universal Pagan Temple. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about the Egyptian god Horus and how I feel about him. Now the Horus I will be speaking about is Horus, son of Isis, also known as Horus by his Egyptian name. Now he is the son of Isis, as the name suggests, and the son of Osiris. Horus is the god of sky, light, vengeance, and of kingship. It is said that all the pharaohs descended from Horus. Now, being the god of the sky, Horus's eyes were representative of the sun and the moon. So his left eye was the moon, and his right eye was the sun, and his feathers were the clouds. Horus lost his left eye in the battle with his uncle Set, so that is why the ancient Egyptians explained the sun's waxing and waning as the waxing and waning of Horus's left eye. Now, if you've watched some of my previous videos about magic, you may have noticed that I highly recommend using the Eye of Horus. The Eye of Horus can be used for protection magic, and also for general good luck, and also healing magic as well. Now, Horus's story is that he was born to Isis after his father Osiris died. So, Horus's mission in life basically is to avenge his father's murder by killing his uncle Set. So, Horus is raised in secret by Isis and her sister Nefties in order to keep him secret because they don't want Set to know that Horus is alive, because that would be a threat to Set's crown. Now, Set is the current king of Egypt in this tale after he usurped his brother Osiris by tricking him and putting him in a sarcophagus and then drowning him in the Nile. And then after Isis found him, he then chopped his body into many little pieces. But that's how Isis found him, and then she was able to resurrect him using her magic. And Isis, of course, being the goddess of magic. But then we see Horus growing and learning the art of war and learning how to be a king and being raised by Isis and Nefties. So eventually Horus is able to fight Set, and this is how he loses his eye. Now, there are several different tales where it's more of a court battle in between the gods. Who has the right to rule Egypt? We'll see that tale sometimes, and we'll also see a just straight up battle between Horus and Set, where Horus is on a boat fighting a hippopotamus, a red hippopotamus Set, which red meant to the Egyptians as a chaotic color, and Horus was more represented in black, being the color of order of good. So like I said earlier in the video, Horus loses his eye, but in return, Set cuts off his testicles, thus making the desert barren. That's because Set is the god of not only chaos and storms, but he's also the god of the desert. And a little interesting history and geology fact about Egypt. Back in the Ice Age, Egypt was a jungle, basically a wetland, and maybe that was the ancient Egyptians' explanation as to why it eventually turned into a desert. So Horus defeats Set and becomes pharaoh of Egypt. Now he passes on his crown later on to humanity, or I should say the pharaohs. the half-god, half-human beings that rule Egypt. Now, Horus was the first god I encountered in my studies when I was very young, actually, when I was about 12 or 13. Now, if you watch any of my Year in the Day videos, or if you've asked me a question about how to find your patron deity, and I tell you to study and just, start reading books on mythology, that's because that's how I found Horus. He basically jumped out of the page when I was about 12, and he really interested me. And then, as I got older, I realized what this interest was. One of my favorite movies growing up was The Lion King. And basically, The Lion King is a story of Horus versus Set, except in this case, Isis should be playing a larger role as Sarabi in the movie, but I guess Disney didn't see fit to do that. But anywho, I've had a long time to work with this wonderful god. He's very easygoing as a god to worship. When you feel his energy, you think of him as the god of kingship, that he's going to be, hoity-toity, but not really that much. When it comes to offerings, he's pretty easygoing, just as long as it's not cheese or Guinness, which is kind of funny. He doesn't prefer those offerings. Offerings to give him would be orange, anything orange flavored, even orange juice, and dark chocolate, and then also rum. Of course, these alcohol offerings only if you're over 21, of course. Now, ask for Horus's aid if you're doing any magic with healing or protection with using his eye, his left eye, the Eye of Horus, or if you need courage or help making decisions, ask Horus for help as well. Now, if you guys have had any experience with working with this god, or if you want to, feel free to post below either with questions or comments about your experiences or your questions for me. Now, until next time, blessed be!